What's up, you guys? It's Zach, and today we have another bonus round for you. I know we've been kind of haven't been as active with the bonus rounds lately. Been super busy, but we wanted to roll these back out so that you could start seeing more of client stories, client success stories inside of the Woodworking Business Accelerator program. And so on today's call, we're going to be introducing our client Orlando. He's down in New Mexico. He's an incredible guy, a pastor, and has had some pretty cool results here inside the program that we would love to share with you. So without further ado, let's jump into the call. What is up, you guys? We have another bonus episode. We have not done one of these in a while. We've gotten busy, had a lot going on, but we have another bonus round. And today we have a special guest, one of our incredible clients inside of the Woodworking Business Accelerator program, Orlando Pineda. He is the owner of North Valley Woodworks in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Orlando, welcome to the show, man. Glad that you're here.
Hey, it's great to be here, man. I'm excited about this. This is what hooked me in, was listening to these shows actually.
Awesome, man. So, yeah, today what I want to do is just kind of dive into your story, hear a little bit about you, your business, how everything's going down there in Albuquerque, what your goals are, how your experience has been in the program, and the like. So, I'm going to turn the floor over to you for a minute, man, and just take a few minutes filling us in on who you are, what you do, and a little bit maybe about your family, your background, how long you've been woodworking, so on and so forth.
All right. Yeah. I'm actually a pastor full time. That's my calling. That's the main thing I want to do. And I also work a full-time job. So I'm pretty busy as it is.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
I wanted a means to get out of being there where I couldn't focus on the church so much.
Mhm.
So I love woodworking. I fell in love with woodworking probably back in like 2017, 2018. I started doing some remodeling on my house and I just really enjoyed it and started buying a bunch of tools, started building stuff. That's what gave me the bug. And so I decided, I've been thinking about it probably for like 2 or 3 years about getting started, starting a business, selling things. And I'm just like, I don't know. It just seems like I don't know if I can do that. So I was just watching YouTube videos and stuff, and I don't even know exactly how I came across yours. It was probably on YouTube. And when I first heard it, I was like, man, I don't want to do all that. It was like talking about the Facebook post and putting yourself out there. I was like, I don't know about that. And I kind of dismissed it, and it just kept coming back, kept coming back. And so I decided to jump in. And like I mentioned, it was a lot of these videos is what I started watching. I was like, man, if these guys can do it, I can do it. These other
Yeah.
people are doing it. So that was what really pushed me to do it. I also I've been married now. This year, actually, in August, will be 25 years.
Come
Um,
on, man.
yeah, that's a blessing right there. I have a wonderful wife. I got four amazing kids. My youngest just graduated. We just celebrated her graduation, went to Florida for a week. So that was a great time. And I have a beautiful granddaughter. So the Lord has definitely blessed us. I pastor Liberty Baptist Church here in Albuquerque. And I think that's about all you asked, right?
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Now, y'all leave in the comments below, let us know Orlando does not look old enough to be married for 25 years and have four kids with the youngest that just graduated from high school and be a granddad, right? I wouldn't have never guessed. But man, thanks for sharing. I want to dive into kind of your business before joining the program. Were you just really not sure if you wanted to try to grow a business at that point? Were you trying to grow a business and running into some challenges? Kind of walk me through kind of the mindset that you had with your woodworking business before jumping into the program. And if you were running into any challenges, what were they?
So I had actually never sold a piece of furniture before I joined the business, before I joined the Woodworking Business Accelerator program.
Okay.
I had gone back and forth with it. I thought about selling stuff and let me try this. I mean, I built some things, but most everything I built, I just gave it away or it was
Yeah.
for me. And I just wanted out of my full-time job. And so that's the goal. That's where I'm going, is so I can honestly kind of hand everything over in the business so that I can pastor and just maybe
Mhm.
manage it, 20 hours a week if I have to or whatever.
Yeah.
That right now is my mindset. But I hadn't sold anything. And so I didn't have a business. And so
Right.
I started getting serious about this. I jumped on a call with Jordan. I think I friended you on Instagram is what it was.
Hmm.
And you got back to me you said, hey, what's up? And I don't remember all the details, but I was like, well, I'm
Yeah.
actually interested in kind of your program. And so you set up a call, and I spoke with Jordan and went over some things with him. And he was like, well, yeah, I think it'd be a fit for you. I was like, okay. So I jumped on, and man, I did not realize it was not the best time to start. I started like, I think it was the week of Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So I got in, man, it was rough. The first few months were rough for me, learning
Yeah.
sales and then understanding that's also a slower time of year just for
Yeah.
a lot of industries. So that was tough, but I didn't have any real experience as far as starting a business before that, other than starting a church. I think that
Right.
gave me a lot of the groundwork for what to expect. It's obviously it's different, but I knew as far as the work going into it, it's like it's all on you when you first start. Like you have to,
Mhm.
you're everything. And so I had that understanding. So that was a help going into it. But other than that, I hadn't sold anything before.
Gotcha. Yeah. So walk me through your first couple months here. And so one of the things that we always try to do, and I know the answer to this, but I'm just doing it for those that are watching, those that are listening. Um, we want to be transparent. We want to show you the good, the bad, and the ugly about
Yeah.
everything inside of a woodworking or custom furniture business. So walk me through those first couple months. What was your experience? What were your challenges? And then tell me when you started to turn a corner as well. So
All right. So like you watch some of these other, bonus episodes, and I'm like, man, these guys are just on it. I mean, they jump in and they're like selling like, $1 million a month, it seems like. I'm like,
yeah,
I can do that. All right,
yeah,
let me get in here. So that was not how it happened for me. So I started in December, and obviously that's tight for everyone because Christmas.
yeah,
And I didn't have a clue with sales. I really didn't know what I was doing. And so that was the hardest part for me the first few months. And, I'm still growing in that. And I think it's probably always evolving,
yeah.
but it was a struggle. So the first month, praise the Lord, I did get a sale. I sold a coffee table, a big coffee table, and it was like $1,200, I think is what it was. So that was a help. I'm like, all right, that helps offset some of the costs.
Hmm.
And then February rolled around, and I didn't look. I think I sold two smaller coffee tables in February. And so it was just little things to keep me going. And I was like already talking to my wife. I'm like, man, there's some expenses with this program. I said, so like, pray we'll have the finances to keep going. I had some money saved already, so I knew that. And I was like, I'm just going to keep going. And kind of my goal coming into it was, if I can just sell enough to maintain staying in the program
Hmm.
until I learn how to do this, that was my mindset.
Yep,
And
that's a good
so,
mindset.
well, I
Yep.
remember I first had Keith asked me, "What are you expecting out of this?" I was like, "Man, if I can do like 5 grand a month, I'd be happy with that." And he was
Hmm.
like, "Man, you got to push for more than that." And I was like, "Well, I know, I get that, but like if I can do that, because I have a full-time job, I can maintain until I learn how to do this better."
Yeah,
And because I don't want to stay right there, that's not my goal, but I need to learn what I'm doing. And so I was able to do that in the first few months. So my biggest struggle, I'd say, hands down, was learning sales and just how to communicate it. It's different, in a
mhm,
message.
yeah,
It's definitely different. You have to, I don't know, finesse it, I guess might be the right term, the conversation. And
mhm,
then as you do more and more, it's just at bats, like you're always saying. If you do more and more, you start to learn, okay, here's the progression of this conversation.
right.
And you begin to learn which ones, okay, this is going somewhere, this one's probably not, but you still work them all. And so sales was my biggest struggle. And I think that's all you asked, right?
Yeah, when did it kind of start opening up for you? Like, did you feel like there was something that you learned, or did you feel like you just slowly got better at sales? And then, like, what month did you really kind of have a breakout month in the program?
I want to say, if I'm thinking back, it was March where I had, I think I spent 500 on ads and I sold like 12,500. It was
Nice.
almost like a 24%. I think it was 24% return on ad
24,
spend.
24x. Yeah,
Yeah, 24x.
24x. Yeah.
Right.
Awesome.
Um,
That's awesome. So give me a look at kind of where you are now. Like, what have you been averaging over the last several months? What kind of return have you seen on your ad spend? And yeah, kind of walk me through where you're at now and what the next goal is inside of the business.
So the turn, I think you mentioned that earlier, that the turn for me, it was gradual, and it was
Hmm.
really just me, getting in there with Keith, and Keith helping me walk through, a
Yeah.
lot of the sales conversations. I'm like, what do I do here? What do I say here? And really just that reminder to just keep going, keep asking, keep asking. And so
Hmm.
it was real gradual for me. It wasn't like a light bulb moment where I'm just like, oh, I got it.
Yeah.
Um, but where I'm at now, so through the first whatever 5 months of this year, I have sold 34, almost 35,000 in sales in the
Okay.
first 5 months. And that's on, I don't know, it's like, it's 10 and a half X is my return.
Average return across
My
those five
average
months.
return over those 5 months is 10 and a half.
That's good.
So
Yeah.
that's like awesome to me. I'm like, if I can just maintain that, I'll be great.
Mm. Right.
Um, let me silence that there.
Oh no, you're good. You're good.
Um,
So,
where I want to go is my next steps, and we had a call on this, and it was great help, and I think I'm closer to getting someone hired. But my
hmm
next step is I want to get to the 15 to really 20,000 a month mark,
hmm
and we laid out some good steps for me to do that. My next step in that is to hire somebody, and I think I've got someone nailed down. I just need to ask them and see if they are for that, and
Yeah.
that will get me my lead times down, and then I can just start, increase the ad spend and give me a little more
hmm
time to focus on in some other areas because I
Yeah.
am like super busy.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're still working your full-time job, growing this on the side, still pasturing. So the one thing that I do want to just vocalize here for everybody that's maybe watching this, it's like, man, this is going to take work. I'm going to be very busy. Is that you're going to be very busy. Like when you're growing this first 6 months to a year, uh, there comes a level of just like owning the fact that, man, I'm going to be working super hard. And then as you get more systems and people in place to help you with your business, you can start backing off and getting some of your time back. But the first 6 months, especially, is pretty difficult when you're trying to scale, trying to grow. It requires a lot of you, and with that, you got to have some healthy rhythms, right? So you got to have some ways to unplug. You got to find some ways to recharge, not burn out. What are some ways that you have been able to do that as you're growing? As you're building a business, as you're still working a full-time job, you're trying to pastor, obviously you got a family and whatnot. What are some just personal things that you do to give yourself room to breathe as you're starting to grow?
So one for me personally, my walk with the Lord, I try to spend time with Him every morning,
Hmm.
reading the Bible, praying. Like that's of utmost importance. So that's number one. Number two, one of the things that I do is sometimes, even though I know I have like works out there waiting for me and I got to get to it, is sometimes I'm just like, I'm taking the evening off and I'm just gonna like spend some time with my wife and the kids that are at home.
Yeah.
Even when I am out there working, because I'm in my shop outside, like still dinner comes around, even if it's only for like 30 minutes, I'll come in, not always, but a lot of times I'll come inside and I'll eat dinner with the family, and then it's like, all right, I gotta go.
Yeah.
So things like that. I love riding motorcycles, so that's
Okay,
an
nice.
outlet for me that is just like I love doing that and just get out on the road and
Yeah.
just go. So that's something else I do. And then this vacation was great. Like we needed it. It was awesome just getting away for a week and not having to worry about anything, And as a pastor, it's like Sunday's always coming too. Like there's
Yep.
always a message. Like even when you're away, it's like, well, I come back and I got to have a message ready. I got to be ready to preach.
Right.
So that's always there too. But I have a good man at my church that covers for me and can take care of that. So it's not such a burden. So those are some of the things I do.
That's good. That's good. I think it's really important as guys are growing businesses just to recognize the need for that. The need to break away or establish healthy rhythms, find ways to recharge, refuel along the way. Otherwise, you just get burnt out. And you might have the skill set, but you don't have the capacity to
Right.
fulfill on that. And so,
If
um,
I could add to that too, I keep a
yeah.
date night with my wife every Friday.
Yep.
Every Friday we have a date night. I mean, sometimes it gets interrupted, like graduation time. There's a graduation party we're going to, so but
Right.
it's nearly every week we have a date night, and I think that's huge. Just in help with our marriage, even having a close relationship.
Yeah, that's good. That's good stuff, man. So So inside of the program, we do several things, right? We have a product catalog, we teach sales, we run ads for you, we coach you on all the fulfillment back end stuff. Obviously, it's all helpful to some extent, but out of everything that we do, what has been the most helpful thing for you to really help get your business off the ground, get it to a point where you're getting really strong, sustainable returns on what you spend on your ads, and so on and so forth? What has been the most helpful part of the program, if you could narrow it down to one thing?
So if I could narrow it down to one thing, I think that it kind of comes like a package deal, but it would be having the photo catalog that comes with it,
Mm-hmm.
that matched with the Facebook advertising is hands down. Like that's number one. There's more than that, but that's number one. That's been the biggest help is just bringing in potential clients.
Yeah. Which just changes everything for everybody that we work with, just having opportunity. And that's where I think, somebody who's watching this or listening to this right now, that's probably what their biggest struggle is that they don't
Mhm.
have enough chances to sell. They don't have enough opportunities to close deals. And so, cool. I love that. Thanks for sharing that.
Absolutely.
So, has there been any like mindset shifts that you've had around business, or any mindset shifts that you've had around, oh, this is what it takes to be successful, or this is what I have to do in order to get the results since you've started working with us? Has there been anything that you've learned along the way that's been like, man, this has been super beneficial for me, just personally in the way that I approach business, since you joined the program?
Um, so yes, I would say I even forget the name of the book that you recommend.
E-Myth?
Um, yeah, the E Myth
Hmm.
Revisited,
Hmm.
and just that thought within the program is to like constantly just, and I don't know if it's necessarily worded like this, but basically replace yourself.
Hmm.
Place yourself, because I'm kind of the type, it's like if something comes, like I'll do it. Like I'll just work harder. That's
Yeah.
just what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna work harder. And
Hmm.
it's like, nah, you need to kind of stop and work smarter and get someone. The meeting yesterday, I missed the first part of it, but the weekly Zoom call that we have was just like get someone that's better at you than you at this and have them do it. Like that
Yeah.
they can basically become the expert in that and let them do it, and just handing off duties. So that for me has been like, okay, that's what I need to get to where I want to be, instead of it just being
Yeah.
on me and me taking care of it.
Yeah. The other thing I'll say here is like, so Orlando's primary goal for everybody listening is he really wants to build a business that he can kind of remove himself from, right? So he wants to build a business, have a strong set of employees that run the operations. He still maybe handles the sales and the communication with clients, but isn't the one standing over the work piece every day. Now, if you're listening to this or watching this, you're like, man, I'm a woodworker through and through. Like, you're not going to get me out of the shop. I love to be in the shop. There's different strokes for different folks, right? And so I'm down in the South. That's one of the things that we say. But the program can work around whatever your goals are, right? So if your goal is to have a a team, we can help you develop that. If your goal is to be a one-man crew, we can help you develop that more as well. So with that, what is something that you've learned through this process that you think other makers need to know? Like if they want to grow a successful business, what is something that they need to know?
So like you mentioned earlier, like hard work, like there's a lot of hats you have to wear if you're going to start a business. And so, like, if someone's considering that, like right now, start researching, how to get an LLC, how to do, your books. I had experience with that already, just because I do the books for the church. Like, I take care of that, so I knew about all
Hmm.
that. So that hasn't been the biggest issue for me having to like completely learn that. I was familiar with that already. So start like learning the skills you need, and then just hard work. Like I was up till like midnight last night gluing up a tabletop after I got out of work, and then
Hmm.
I come here and I'm doing that. So if you're in that situation, expect that. And then I'm not there yet, but if this is all you have, then the stress of, okay, well, now I have to, I got to get this
Right.
going if this is my main income. So I would say that's, something that is definitely needed is you're going to have hard work. And
Yeah.
what did you say? I'm sorry.
Yeah, just something that you've learned through the process that other makers need to know, that they need to hear if they want to be successful.
Yeah, hard work. I would say also get good tools. Like
Hmm.
I know it's like buy once, cry once. There's some things you can get cheap, but other than that, like some of the tools I purchased have just been just changed things completely. You think you're saving money up front, but really you're not because you learn real
Mm,
quick that like time is money. Like, yeah, I can get a cheaper sander, but how long am I going to be there sanding
right.
it? And I end up losing money even though, well, that thing's $500. Get it. Like, honestly, if you can afford it, get it.
Yeah.
So
No, that's
just
that's
things like
good. What have been the best tool purchases that you've made that have cut down your production times and helped you get faster?
that. Hands down was the 6-inch Bosch sander,
Yep.
the dual mode,
Hmm.
and also a Festool track saw.
That's
That
the
thing,
game changer too.
oh, dude, that thing's beautiful. I love that.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, and also I've only used it once, but the Graco sprayer, I forget, Project Plus or the
Yeah.
Project Pro, whatever it's called. That one,
Yeah.
that thing sprays like just man, that thing's nice.
Yeah. Sprays like butter. Having it for lacquer, for paint is really, really, really nice.
Well, if I could add something else to this too, you asked about what I'd recommend to other makers. Man, in a production shop like this, like don't follow like the YouTube advice. Not that it's bad, but the YouTube advice of the woodworkers on YouTube that are like professional content creators of
Hmm.
setting up a shop. Don't
Yep.
follow that. That doesn't work. It's good if you're just building a project and you have all day. But I'm having to like completely rethink my shop and change things, and it'll just set you backwards.
Yep.
I That's just
Yeah. And so, obviously our goal here is not to hate on anybody else, but
no, like they do
but
great stuff. I've learned a lot from them.
yeah.
But as far as setting up a production shop, no.
Yeah. But if you're watching videos and their shop is like spotless, it means that they are there to create content. They're not there to build things. And so
Right.
if you're trying to build a woodworking business that is not content driven, but is actually product driven, you need to go approach it differently, right? You need to have a flow and a methodology for what you're doing and how you're doing it. So okay, so if someone's on the fence about joining the Woodworking Business Accelerator program, what would you tell them and why?
If they're even considering it, I'm like, do it. Just jump in. Like it works. What I have seen is like I came in, I think in our onboarding call, I think there was 4 of us. And I don't know if there's maybe one other guy or just me left from that group. I haven't looked.
Yeah.
Like come in ready to work, and I would say I think the best advice I could give someone, because for me I struggled with the sales. Um, Come in with the financing to at the very least hang in for 3 months.
Yeah.
Hang in for 3 months because I think if you can get to that point, you'll get over that hump and you'll go forward. And then
Yeah.
just you know don't let fear stop you because that's there for everybody. It was there for me. I was like, I don't know about this. This is crazy.
Hmm.
What if I fail? Who wants to fail?
Right.
But that's how you learn. It's like a catch 22, but it's hard. Like you don't want to fail, but that's how you learn. And maybe you might fail, but then we'll come back in another year, try it again. I don't know. But I would say if
Yeah.
they're on the fence, just do it, man. Jump in and you obviously prepare, but like don't wait because the sooner you learn, the better. Like I can look back to when I was like after I came in and it's like, oh, this was the worst time of year to actually start this because it's the slowest time of year. And I was like,
Hmm.
man, that's great. If I'd have known that, I probably would have waited. But then I've looked back on it and I was like, no, that was probably the best time for me to start because that allowed me to learn so much of this, have the time to learn so much of this other stuff before the sales really started coming in. Because
Yeah.
once the sales came in, now I'm like, I don't have time to think sometimes,
Right.
So it kind of was the best time for me to come in.
Yeah, and I'll just kind of echo on that too. Like, the biggest challenge that people have is learning the sales side of things. Like, and that is for your first 30 to 90 days. If you don't figure that out, doesn't matter if we help you build the most efficient shop in the world, you got to have sales. And so
Yeah.
the number one thing that people, I talk to a lot of guys and a lot of them like, well, I need to get this ready. I need to get this ready. I need to get this ready before I jump in. I need to get my LLC established. I need to do this. And it's like, no, you need to figure out how to sell. Like before you go spend the money to establish an LLC, before you start buying a bunch of tools to set up your shop, before you do all these other things, the number one thing you need to figure out is you need to learn the process and the system for selling consistently and predictably. And if you can figure that out, then you actually have a business. You actually have something that you can
Right.
build and grow from there. So, so just to kind of wrap up here, where do you see the business going in the next couple of years? What's your ultimate plan, your ultimate goal here?
I'm thinking, Lord willing, everything goes the way it's been going. I'm thinking that probably by the end of this year, I'm going to be able to leave my day job. I see that as a real possibility. Whereas when I started this, I was like, I don't know, maybe in a few years. But no, the way things are going and just the way the program has it set up, it's set up for success if you'll follow it. And like, there's still like, I know like things are falling through the cracks for me. So there's things I can tighten up and it would be better. But it is what it is right now until I get some help. But it's set up for success. So I see myself, you know, if not at the end of this year, then the early part of next year, being able to leave my day job and focus on this and pastoring. And then from there, I just see me just going to the next step where I just bring, someone else in and it's like, okay, now you take over this and I have less to do. And I see that happening pretty quick because honestly, I think it was in maybe last week's weekly call. You talked about leverage and not letting things hinder you or stop you, removing that mindset.
Hmm.
And one of the biggest things for me that helps me the most is being able to see like, oh, someone else has done that. Like they can do it, then so can I. And I
Yeah.
remember, I think the first thing that opened my mind to that was when it doesn't apply at all to woodworking, but when I was learning how to work heavy equipment and I didn't have a clue, I'd never even been on it. But one of my supervisor at the time, like he had done it for like 30, 40 years and he was good on any piece of equipment, like just expert. And I watched him on it and I was like, wow, I can do that. I was like, okay, if it can do that, he can do it, then so can I. And, that helped me to see it. And so, like I said, these bonus podcasts, like just opened my eyes to it. Like, man, all these guys are doing it and they're doing it from all over the country. It's not like they're just in, this one spot. No, it's
Right.
all over the country and all rural cities, like everything you can think of. And all these guys are making it happen with all different personalities, all different skills. Like
Yeah.
some of the guys in the program, man, they can build some stuff. I'm like, wow,
For
like
real.
one day I can do that.
Yeah.
They're good. And other
Mhm.
guys are just like excellent at sales. And I'm just like, man, but everyone's got different skills and abilities from all over and they're able to do it. So I see that and I'm like, man, I can get to there. I can get to that next level. And so I don't see it being too far off, honestly, maybe, and this might even be too long, but 2 or 3 years where I'm like basically just stepping back and
Yeah.
maybe managing it, just doing whatever I decide I want, whatever part of it, aspect of it I like, 15, 20 hours a week, 10 hours a week, or maybe even fully removing myself from it and just maintaining it. I see that as a real possibility. So I'm
Yeah.
excited.
Yeah, man. Well, thanks for taking some time and hopping on the show. For anybody that's watching this, that's interested in the Woodworking Business Accelerator program, what I want you to know as we're wrapping up is that we're not giving you a system where you don't have to work. You still have to work. You got to work hard, like Orlando is saying, but we are giving you a proven model that gives you all the tools that you need to get to build a successful woodworking or custom furniture business. And so, if you're interested, check out the link in the description below. But with that, Orlando, man, I like ending all these episodes just with just blessing you, honoring you, man. You bring an incredible attitude to the program. You're a culture builder. I love having another fellow pastor in there with me, and just appreciate your faith. Appreciate you the way that you love your wife, you love your family, and the way that you're willing to work hard. So thanks, man, for being a part of the program. The program is better because you're in it. So love and
Man,
appreciate you, dude.
I definitely appreciate that, man. Thank you. It's just humbling to even be asked to do this because I remember when I started thinking, I was like, I'm not going to be on that. But it's humbling, man. It really is. And it's a blessing. So thank you.
Absolutely, man. All right, guys, we're going to wrap this thing up. Thanks again so much for tuning in to this episode, and we'll see you guys on the next one.